What's going on, Phoenicians? Welcome back to another rousing episode of Beer History. What's this series called again?
I don't know, Beer History.
Beer History.
And Tokyo Drew.
And Tokyo Drew. So
Guest starring Tokyo Drew.
Guest starring Tokyo Drew. Now, if you guys recall the last series I did with Dave here, we were talking about
Kamakura.
Kamakura.
Yeah. Craft beer and Kamakura history.
Yep. That if you guys want to watch that, there's a link in the description to the playlist for that from his. He did a few videos on his channel. I did one video on my channel because we had camera problems.
Yeah.
This time we got my camera working fine.
Hopefully.
Yep. We're at the Yanaka Beer Hall here in the Nippori area.
Well, no, you should mention. By the way,
Edit that out.
no, I was gonna say, and the beer hall is nothing to sneeze at.
No, it's not. This is
But
a great
because
place.
there's two of them, that's
Yeah.
what we need to clarify.
We need to clarify.
Yeah, there's actually one on the Ginza Street, which is the more popular area of Nippori.
Yep.
This one is in the Ueno Sakuragi area, close to the sake museum, I guess you could call it.
Yeah, this is like the
pre-open-
back alley of
Yeah.
the Yanaka area. So you go past the Yanaka Cemetery. This is a really nice area, like really old building. So if you guys
this
don't
building,
know already.
this building like represents like the pre-war Shitamachi
Yep.
area, the downtown area,
Yeah.
the working class people, basically the local people
Right,
of
yeah.
Tokyo, as we talked about in the last video.
Yep.
And
If you
this
didn't see
building,
that last video, it's up here. There's a card up here. If I don't edit that in there, please yell at me in the comments.
This-
Card.
this building actually was built in 1938. So it's kind of
1938.
so it's like
Good
a combination of the old style and Western style kind of mixed together. That
Wow.
makes it pretty unique.
Yeah, it
and it
does.
survived the earthquake and the bombings of World War II.
That's true.
Yeah.
God. Damn.
Big fire and all that
Yep.
stuff.
And they started to restore it, I think, in the 90s. Because there was a time, like in the 80s, where they were just kind of knocking a lot of old stuff down.
Yeah.
But people started to realize, no, these kind of places are important, and thank
Yep.
God they did.
Yeah.
And now we have here a beer hall, a really cool bakery,
Yep.
coffee shop.
That's
Yeah.
true. So,
But let's get started on the beers.
So yeah, this is called Yanaka Dry, and the beer we had in the previous episode was just normal Yanaka beer. This one is 4.5%, has a lesser IBU. So I don't know it might be a normal, easy drinking lager, might be a light pilsner. I don't know.
All right, well, let's give it a
Let's
shot.
try it. Yeah,
Kampai?
Kampai.
Definitely a light beer.
That is very light. I
Yeah.
think that definitely tastes like a lager.
No, does dry have anything to do? You're the beer guy.
Right.
So what does dry mean when it comes to beer?
I think it's just how they prepare it.
Okay.
Because
I'm sure if I pour it on myself, I'll be quite wet.
right, yeah.
As Donald Trump would probably agree, beer and hurricanes are very wet, tremendously wet.
Tremendous. He said it like 5 times. I saw that in his tweet.
tremendously
oh,
wet.
yeah, that's right. You guys have Donald Trump as your president.
Yeah. Let's not talk about that.
Yeah,
Anyway,
let's make this a pleasant video.
it says Lager American Light, so it's basically modeled and brewed the same way as a Bud Light or Miller Lite would be brewed.
Tastes like it too, though.
Yeah, but you know it doesn't
Got a little
taste
bit
bad.
of a...
Yeah.
Wow.
That's
that's-
a-
Good way to throw those beers under the bus, but I agree with you.
Like-
it doesn't have that formaldehyde taste. to
I
it.
don't mind Budweiser. I do not mind
I do.
Miller. It's just Miller Lite and Bud Light just literally taste like it came from the bottom of my shoe. It kind of has like a Miller looking color to it. Let me intersplice some B-roll here.
Carbonation is pretty set. You know, an even carbonated beer.
I have no idea what that means, but I'll take your word for it.
Well, just the bubble rate.
Yeah.
Just
It's not so-
It's
It
the
has
only thing I know
bubbles!
about beer
It's,
is the
it's
actual
not so
bubble
bubbly.
rate. Yeah, no, it's a nice even. It's not gonna give you that sharp taste
Right.
due to the carbonation. So
Now, I should mention it's a little noisy here because we can't show it, but one of the nice things about this area is we're actually in a neighborhood as Shitamachi
Yeah.
would have been. It's a living neighborhood. We're not like in a museum area, and more important, not in a touristy area.
Yeah.
Like the actual locals
Yeah, right.
live here. We're not like somewhere.
this
like
is
in-
gonna be all done with locals, except for us.
Yeah, we're not the
And,
locals.
Well, but then again, we've lived here long enough to almost be
Well,
locals.
I guess
so,
we
yeah.
are
Right.
locals.
Yeah.
Right?
How long have you been in Japan?
13 years.
Okay.
That's long enough. I've been here for 5.5.
Yeah.
There's
Well,
like-
see, you've already 15. I believe.
15?
Yeah. But see, you've already passed the 3-year mark. 3-year mark is when a lot of people leave, especially the people that love Japan so much.
Yeah, they have this
That-
thing about Japan. They're just like,
Yeah. I love Japan. I'm going to live here forever. Then 3 years are gone.
Okay,
Yeah,
I don't know
once
if you
you-
guys see this on the lens, but there's a fly buzzing right around the lens.
Hopefully that was.
Okay, he's flying off.
But yeah, it's always funny, like the ones that, like those severe Japanophiles, anime freaks or whatever, most of them barely last 3 years.
Well, what happens is they have 2-year leases for apartments, and then they have either like a 2 or 3 year contract
Yeah.
for an English school, and then they get burnt out by
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, I mean, it's one thing if you just want to come here for a couple years and leave, well,
Yeah.
whatever. But what I'm talking about is the ones that like are just,
I'm sorry. I have to
oh,
get
I
rid
can
of this
actually
fly.
see the fly
Yeah.
in the.
Out of here. Alright, can you restart that sentence? I think I just bursted a fly in my hand.
It's one thing like if you just want to come here for a couple years and leave, or stay here for your whole life, whatever.
Yeah.
It's the ones I'm talking about are the ones that are like die-hard fans of Japan and they've never been here, but they're like, oh, Japan is my mecca. I need to go there, and I'm gonna live there forever, no matter what I do. Those tend to burn out within 2 to 3
Oh,
years.
And they would
Easily.
never visit a part of town like
No.
this.
No, because they're
Never.
too busy going to Akihabara.
She was cute.
I don't know.
I just had to throw that in there.
I didn't see who you were looking at.
The girl that just walked in.
Okay, anyway, but enough. Before we get hit with a Me Too,
Oh, Jesus.
we'll say talk a little bit more about history.
Yeah.
Once this very loud.
That
happens all the time.
Every time
I
we
swear,
try to film
YouTubers,
something.
yeah.
You gotta add this part in though.
Yeah. Oh,
You
yeah.
can't
yeah,
edit it
yeah.
out. You can't edit this
Am
part.
I even filming? I am recording. Okay,
Alright.
shit, Jesus Christ, I'm so.
But anyway, what most people think of Tokyo, of course, is from the Edo period. Edo was the old name of Tokyo, and Edo just was a simple name that meant like bay door.
Estuary, basically.
Yeah,
That's what it
estu-
literally
yeah.
meant,
Estuary?
Yeah, that's what it
I
literally
have
meant.
never in my life ever heard that word before.
Yep.
Well, it's because it's an English word. Canadians don't speak.
Oh!
But I said, yeah. So it wasn't like any kind of main name, like some special name.
Multi-meaning name.
Yeah, it's just like it's by the bay. We'll call
Yeah.
it, by the
There's
bay.
a bunch of
basically.
rivers there.
Yeah.
That's-
by
Yeah.
the bay.
Yeah.
Tokyo, the name Tokyo comes from is the East capital, which the name Tokyo came about in 1868 because the
Yeah.
Emperor Meiji moved to Tokyo, and so therefore wherever the emperor was, that's where the capital was.
Yep.
And Kyoto, and it's interesting that Kyoto did not become Kyoto until that time as well, because then it was called the West capital.
Was it Psycho?
No, I don't know what.
Psycho's West capital.
I have no idea. No, it's
Psycho,
just,
right?
Yeah. Not
But-
Psycho line, because that's using the
Yeah.
kanji for Saitama and Tokyo.
No, all I know is
Right.
it's Tokyo, Kyoto, and Kyoto became Kyoto once the emperor moved, and they called it the West capital. Before that, it was called Heian.
Yeah.
And that's why you have the
Right.
historical period known as the Heian period,
Yeah.
because that's where most of the government and culture was centered. All the Japanese historical periods are basically named after where the area where either like the government or cultural dominance.
So it's
was
relevant. It's relative to the center of culture,
Yeah.
center of
at. Yeah.
dominance.
So, for example, officially,
Yeah.
Heian, or Kyoto, was the capital for 1,000 years, from 794 to 1867, changing in 1868.
Right.
But technically, technically it was the capital, but realistically the capital moved wherever the power was. So Kamakura period, which was 1185 to 1333, technically Heian, Kyoto, was still the capital.
Right.
But all the decisions in the country were being made in Kamakura because that's where the shogun government was at.
Oh.
That makes
and so
sense. Yeah.
and so that's why they call it the Kamakura period.
Damn, I'm getting a good history lesson here.
And then after that it moved to Muromachi. Now Muromachi actually is in Kyoto.
Yeah, it's like
But
the
they
southern
don't.
part
They
of
didn't
Kyoto.
call it like Heian Part 2 because Muromachi was another shogun government. They actually had two governments. There was like a kind of sub period called Nambuko-cho where they had two emperors, one in the north being Kyoto, Heian, and one in the south being Yoshino and Nara.
Oh, okay, that explains why Nara has importance then. But
Oh well, no, Nara was a capital.
right.
From the 8th century. That was before.
Okay.
They
yeah.
moved to Heian. No, Yoshino was like a kind of separate, like you could say a kind of a split government
Right.
kind of thing. So there were 2 emperors for about, I'll say, the 60 years.
Oh yeah, I read about that in school. So what does that all have to do with the Shitamachi area?
Okay, but anyway,
itself? Leaving out from where we
little Edo was just a fishing village for the most part, and there was a war between the most powerful man in Japan in 1590, Toyotomi Hideyoshi. He wanted this clan known as the Hojo clan.
Aren't they in Odawara?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, actually, there's 2 Hojo clans. It gets kind of confusing.
Right.
One in Kamakura, but the one we're talking about is in Odawara. So the Odawara Hojo, they were one of these clans that rose from nothing to a strong clan during the Warring States period, known as Sengoku period.
I went to Odawara a few years ago. And you remember Sachiko, right? My friend Sachiko?
Yeah.
She and I went there a couple years ago, and they actually had a museum all about the Hojo clan there.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll leave that link in the description as well.
Yeah. But so that group became a very powerful group in the whole Kanto area, and they also controlled Edo.
Right.
At that time, Toyotomi Hideyoshi became the most powerful man in Japan, and he wanted basic obedience from everyone. And the Hojo, though, they were kind of like, yeah, no, we're happy where we are in the Kanto. So Toyotomi was like, right, fuck you. And showed up with an army of 100,000 soldiers.
Wow.
Damn.
Yeah, it was huge. The Hojo thought they could hold out because they had resisted the attacks from Takeda Shingen and Uesigi Kenshin. And anyone that knows samurai history knows, like, those were big guys at that time. Those were important people. And you have a mosquito on your head.
Again.
Mosquitoes will sit there, but they don't bite me.
Oh, okay. But so they thought they could hold out because they held out against 2 of the great generals of their age. But Toyotomi didn't just show up to just surround them and wait for them to starve out. He built a little city around their castle and grew food and all that and had entertainment. So he was like, I'll just chill. And the Hojo weren't ready for that, and so eventually they gave up.
Oh, they just gave up. They're like,
Yeah,
oh,
well, they
shit.
realized they were screwed. There was not. It was an inevitable conclusion. But the important thing about that was, Toyotomi now had all this Edo land, and he had this one rival, a guy named Tokugawa Ieyasu. And even though they were allies, they were also kind of like, because they were both very powerful men, ambitious, and he didn't like Tokugawa's land, which was in the Nagoya area, Okazaki. He didn't like it being too close to where he was at in Osaka. So he made a deal.
Right.
He said, "Look, you give me your Aichi lands, and I will give you the Hojo lands," and that's the beginning of Edo as we know it.
Okay,
Because then
so-
Tokugawa, interesting enough, he didn't choose Odawara as his new capital. He chose here.
It's probably more of a strategic location.
Yeah, well, that's just it. I think it was. And as it turns out, like we can say, it was really smart because Tokyo hardly ever gets hit by typhoon straight on.
Right.
We get a lot brushing us, and we don't have to worry about tsunami.
Nope.
No, because of the bay. So he picked a really good spot in that regard. But it's all because of the Hojo of Odawara. And that's how Edo became what we know today. And from that town grew up the Shitamachi area. And then later, when he required him and more his grandson, forced all the daimyo to come here every other year and have residences here. Oh, and their wives and children had to stay in Edo as permanent
So they
hostages.
lived here.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
thought they lived at. So they
Yeah.
didn't stay at the domain. They lived in Tokyo.
Right in
Yeah.
Tokyo itself.
So they were
Or Edo.
permanent. They were
Yeah.
permanent hostages, basically.
That's an interesting way of keeping people loyal to you.
But so that way, that's why you always
Yeah.
you did have a certain divide in people living here. You had the people that were Kanto people
Right.
living here, and then you had the people from outside that were living here either 6 months out of the year or the whole year, but they were still from the other side
Right.
and had to speak that Keigo language
Yeah.
that became standard Japanese, rather than the actual local language of Shitamachi people.
That's really interesting. So Shitamachi, in its sense, it developed their own identity and their own sort of culture
Yeah.
on the outside of the, the
Outside, inside, really. Let's do our last taste of the beer.
Okay. Yep. So this is the last. I got just a little. I got like a shot left.
All right, so let's.
All right, here we
okay.
go. I preferred the first beer over this one.
Yeah, I would say as well, but it's still a good beer.
Yeah, I mean, they were going after, like,
This
Miller
is a good
and Bud Light.
I would say this is a good summer beer when
Yeah.
it's really hot outside because it's light.
It's
Yeah.
very light.
Bring
it to the
very
beach.
kind of
Yeah.
sparkly.
Yeah.
The carbonation is quite good.
Yeah.
It's going to keep you refreshed in the summer, but I think I agree with you, Zach. Like the first beer, the Yanaka beer so far, is the better beer of the two.
Mm. It's still a good beer, though.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Definitely. Like I said, I would recommend this, as I say, if you're sitting outside like we are in the summertime, you're insane because it's really hot and humid. But if you decide to do so, I would drink this beer over the stronger beers.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. All
I
right.
agree.
Okay,
All right,
so you want
cool.
to wrap up anything here?
Yeah, so thank you guys for watching this episode. Check out the other episode in the description. And
Yeah, so now we're going to go to Beer 3.
Beer 3 is on Drew's channel.
And
So
what are we going to drink?
we are going to drink the Golden.
All right. So check us out
Yes.
on his
So
channel.
that link will be down in the description when his video is uploaded.
All right.
Cool. Ladies, guys.
See ya.
ちなみになんですけど YouTube にいつ流すとかってちょっと私たちも見たくて、これを調べれば出てきますかね。
そうですね。
わかりました。楽しみにしてますね。
はい
ありがとうございます。
ありがとうございます。
いえいえこちらこそ。
What I want to ask
We
though
got permission to upload.